られる側の気持ち。やったか。
When it comes to Mashle, there is actually a tremendous amount of things that I absolutely enjoy. I think one of the things that makes Mashle so unique, outside of just its kind of take on magic, outside of the time and place that it takes place in, outside of it being like, what if Black Clover happened in Harry Potter, right? Like it outside of those things, what makes Mashle special to me on a personal level is the ability for it to switch back and forth between comedy and between taking itself serious, and it does both very well. It has these comedic elements during like serious moments, and it has serious moments during comedic times, and I think it does it very well, and not very many anime can do that. I think a lot of them do try to do that. They try and attempt to do that, but sometimes they fail, and typically they fail at the comedy end of it, and on the opposite, sometimes they fail at both. It's very rare that you have really, really good, like Sakuga and really good action scenes and things like that, but then like they fail at comedy. It's typically like they fail at comedy or they fail at both kind of thing. And I think that really Mashle really like it really nails that, and I think it really nails what it's going for, and it does this so well. And this episode, like just kind of like going through events, I think where we ended off on was really cool, right? We had a character seemingly being introduced saying that they're similar to Mashle, and there's two specific things. Is I've always been under the assumption or under the precipice that Mashle has some ability to nullify magic. Again, I've always compared him to Asta from Black Clover, that he's the yin to the yang of magic. And I think that's true in Mashle as well. I think what separates Mashle amongst maybe other dudes, like the ones that we just met, or maybe that's a girl, I'm not sure. But, what separates him between others who might be in a similar situation, which it seems like the last character was, is Mashle has this innate power, like this boosting of power that he has based on all of his physical abilities. And I think that's what separates him, is like his physicality is at level like he's capped out, or he has no ceiling to that. And I think that's what might separate him from this other person or other people similar to him. And on top of that, I think that eventually by challenging this person that we just met with the, Diamond Eye or whatever, I think he's going to gain the ability to nullify magic. And if you think about Mashle with the ability to nullify magic in a way, like it's going to be he's going to be like even more dangerous than what he is today. I think that's going to be incredibly useful and awesome, and I can't wait to be able to see that. On top of that, the other things like that this episode did as well too is it also had them reinvigorated as a goal to go and destroy this Magia Lupus group, right? To go and destroy the Lang House, I think it's what it's called. And now Mashle and Adler are both motivated to go and do this thing. So I think that's going to be really cool to see kind of like these two houses, these two forces go against each other. And this episode, they already gained another gold coin from these two, from the 6 and 7 seed, challenging them. So they now have 2 coins. So basically they're the second house, because this Lang House, I think, or whatever it is, Magia Lupus is number 1. And then we have number 2 now being this house as well too. So I think that's what is really, really cool. So overall, really exciting, really enjoyed it. So let's kind of go through the chain of events, but I would say 9 out of 10 episode, really, really good. So chain of events, last week we picked up with him, stumbling into this Magia Lupus thing. He basically challenged the main guy, essentially called him a weirdo, called him a puppeteer. He tried to figure out exactly, what was going on with this dude. This dude tried to figure out why Mashle wants to be the visionary. He was like, I want to live in peace. This guy goes on a big monologue. He's like, oh, so you want to live in peace yourself, which, essentially, if you were to boil it down, this guy wants to create his own vision of what the world should be like, yada, 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 la, la, la. And essentially, it's what he wants to do too. He wants to live in peace, but in a different way than what Mashle's plan is. This guy then challenges him with puppets and stuff, and he thinks that he stole a gold coin from him, but Mashle was so quick that he actually was able to retain his coin. And he was also able to save the gray hair guy that challenged him last week. He was able to knock him out cold from being a puppet, and he was able to save him as well, so that was really cool. Then we had a moment where Lemon came in to inform Lance and Dot and Adler and all of them and Mosh of what was going on. And I love how she came in saying, "There's four men and one of me. What can we do here?" She's like, "Oh my god," that was a hilarious effing moment. And then they go on the hunt for more gold coins and stuff. But first, they have to do tasks given by the principal or the headmaster, which is to clean the owl, basically clean owl shit. And that was Mosh's punishment for all the stuff that he's done so far, which he does. But then the 6th and 7th seed come to look for them because they're on the hunt and they're stealing everybody's gold coins. So they come on the hunt, and we get to see a really cool fight between Adler and the 6th seed, and then Mosh and the shark dude, which he literally got the shark to quake in his fins in his own territory, which is really cool to see as well too. So we got really cool, 2 cool Sakuga seeds, and then we ended where I started this video at, which is the guy with the diamond eye, who seems to have negating type of magical, or like be able to negate magical abilities. So overall, awesome episode. Really, really enjoyed it. I can't wait to what comes next. Mashle was definitely one of my favorite animes this season. I don't know if it's getting dubbed. Is it getting dubbed? I don't know. Maybe or maybe not. Let me see if it is. It's not getting dubbed yet, but this is one that I can see doing extremely well as a dub, and I hope that it does and gets dubbed very soon because I think it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to rewatch it again after it gets dubbed. And this is a really, really cool anime, and hopefully it's a long-lived one. I can see this one long-term being a favorite of mine, similar to like My Hero and Black Clover. In that genre, in that space, I can see it being one of my favorites if it's like a long-lived one. And so far, I think over the last year, the 2 overhyped anime that have been presented to me too have been Chainsaw Man and Mashle. And so far, Mashle has really lived up to it. Chainsaw Man, if you guys saw my reviews last season, I thought it was a good anime. I don't think it was this masterpiece, artistic, experience that people had kind of sold me on it being. But Mashle, I feel like, has lived up to not as much hype that Chainsaw had, but the hype that it did have that was displayed to me and people told me to watch out for, I think it's lived up to that and more. Again, in my personal opinion, it could just be a taste thing, but for me, this kind of nails it. All right, let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you guys have a amazing Friday or whenever you're watching this. Hope you have a great, if you're in the West, in the States, I hope you have an amazing Memorial Day weekend. For everybody else around the world, continue being awesome just like you are. And I appreciate you guys being here. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace, my friends.